He was never the loudest man in the room. In fact, Robert Smith often looked like he didn't want to be in the room at all. But that's exactly why he became unforgettable. While rock gods roared with bravado, Smith whispered his pain and bled poetry into the mic, and those who truly listened heard something far deeper than gloom. He wasn't just the godfather of goth. To some, he was a paradox, fragile yet defiant, elusive yet always there. And to his most devoted fans, Robert Smith was a romantic soul draped in sorrow, a survivor wrapped in shadow. Born in Blackpool, England, and raised in a strict Catholic home, Robert wasn't bred for rock stardom. He was expected to conform, follow rules, and live quietly. But even as a child, Smith rebelled with heart, not arrogance. Sensitive, curious, and emotional, he challenged societal norms early, once even wearing a skirt to school, not for attention, but to test boundaries. The result? Violent punishment from both classmates and adults. But instead of breaking, Robert turned inward. That pain became a wellspring of creativity. Music wasn't just a passion, it was survival. Punk gave him a spark, ballads gave him a voice. Out of that duality, The Cure was born. At first, the band leaned into pop and punk, catchy, raw, and energetic. But life had other plans. The death of his grandmother, the slow disintegration of friendships, and the immense pressure of fame pushed Smith into a darker, more introspective space. Albums like 17 Seconds, Faith, and Pornography didn't just sound gloomy, they were nearly suffocating. Smith later admitted he wasn't sure he'd survive making Pornography, and during the tour, he spiraled, falling into drugs, sleepless nights, and a pit of existential dread. "I didn't think I'd make it past 30, he confessed, not dramatically, but with quiet certainty. Every album felt like it could be his last. Yet each time, he came back from the edge barely intact, but still writing, still feeling, still singing." Critics often misunderstood him, branding The Cure as depressing or weird. Record labels tried to soften the image, clean up the sound, strip away the smudged lipstick and untamed hair. But Robert refused. His look wasn't a costume, it was armor, a way to keep the world's noise at bay. He didn't want to be cool. He wanted to be honest, and honesty cost him. The Cure was never the trendiest band. They didn't fit neatly into radio formats or fashion spreads. But Robert earned something far more lasting: a connection with misfits, romantics, introverts, the emotionally raw, people who didn't need saving, just someone who understood. He didn't preach from above. He stood beside them. His lyrics didn't glorify pain. They gave it structure, melody, and meaning. Songs like A Forest, Pictures of You, and Lullaby became lifelines for those barely holding on. Internally, though, Smith struggled. Band members came and went. Friendships fractured. Creative tensions drained him. He often vanished for days, numbed himself with alcohol, and locked himself in hotel rooms to silence the chaos. Depression lingered. Smiles on stage gave way to darkness backstage. Yet through every breakdown, he wrote. Through every collapse, he found a new verse. And through it all, through every storm, there was Mary Poole, the girl he met in school, the woman he fell in love with before the fame, before the makeup, before the Cure. Mary wasn't just his muse. She was his anchor. They married in 1988 and have fiercely guarded their privacy ever since. While other rock stars chased chaos, Robert clung to love. He said many times, "Mary saved me," not once, but repeatedly. Their bond wasn't built for headlines. It was built for healing. Still, rumors followed that Robert was losing touch, that he was mentally unraveling. Some stories were exaggerated, some were painfully true. In recent interviews, Smith admitted that the fog still comes and goes, that the world can feel unbearably loud, that being seen as a savior to fans while trying to stay afloat himself was a crushing weight. But he never used it as a reason to stop. He kept touring, kept writing, kept creating, because if he could make it through, maybe someone else could. In 2019, The Cure was inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. And there stood Robert, not the fragile 20-something who once feared 30, but a weathered elder of rock, dignified and quietly proud. He didn't flash a smile or offer a victory lap. But there was strength in his calm. A man who survived ridicule, grief, addiction, and fame, and did it without ever selling out. Even now, in 2025, Robert Smith remains a living legend. Not because he chased the spotlight, but because he stayed true to his shadow. He still sings with trembling honesty, still writes with gut-deep vulnerability. His music doesn't just echo in arenas, it echoes in hearts. He didn't fit in, so he built a world for those who didn't either. Robert Smith is more than The Cure's frontman. He's proof that pain can birth beauty, that sensitivity can be power, that staying true to yourself in a world that constantly tries to reshape you is the loudest rebellion of all. Thanks for watching Starloop News, where we bring you the untold stories of music's most mysterious icons. If Robert Smith's journey moved you, make sure to like, subscribe, and ring that bell so you never miss the deeper side of your favorite stars. Because here at Starloop, we don't just cover headlines, we uncover legacies.